Stuck Up, and Away is the first episode of season 2, and it doesn't get off to a good start. Not that this episode isn't bad. I mean, there hasn't been that episode of Powerpuff Girls yet that I've truly hated, but this is one of the weaker ones, in my opinion. I mean, actually looking back, I mean, there's probably some ones in season 1 that looking back probably weren't that good, but and I wasn't a big fan of it. It wasn't that it wasn't bad, it's just I didn't think it was particularly good. Same way, Stuck Up and Away, there's a new girl in class named Princess Morebucks, and she is the spoiled rich girl who wants everything, believes money can get you anything, and when she learns that there's free superheroes, she wants to be a Powerpuff Girl there too. She envies the Powerpuff Girls, she loves them, and she wants to be them. But the girls keep telling her no, even though she keeps buying stuff to make herself a Powerpuff Girl. And eventually she just buys a cool set of armor and fight to destroy the Powerpuff Girls. But the girls beat her, and I mean, my main problem with the episode is just the story they're telling in general. I'm not a huge fan of. I mean, you have the annoying bratty person who is all about them and who everything has to be about them, and it's just not that interesting. I mean, I will say this. She's intentionally annoying. I mean, I've seen characters in cartoons that will do this sort of self-indulging kind of all about me whining complaining character, and they're unintentionally annoying. Like a good example that comes to mind is Pizza Steve. The Princess Morebucks, she's not that level of annoying. Like, I didn't want to claw my ears out. I was just like sort of like, I went with it, but I wasn't a fan of it. But I will say they did do her really well. Like the design. I love the voice Jennifer Hale does for her. Like, even though I'm not a huge fan of the character, it is a good fan. It is a really good voice. I mean, I knew going into this episode that Jennifer Hale does the voice of that character. And listening to it, you can tell it's her, but she does a really good job embracing the character. Like, her voice, she is really high-pitched and squeaky, and she's talking really fast. Like, and that's what voice acting is. Voice acting is doing something different with your voice to the point where I don't just think, oh, that's Jennifer Hale. Like, I mean, Jennifer Hale is one of those voice actresses where a lot of her roles just involve her. She's not really doing anything that different with her voice. I mean, characters like Bastila from KOTOR, Miss Keen from Powerpuff Girls, Commander Shepard in Mass Effect. Like, it's basically her voice, but she's really good at delivering the lines and getting into it, so you don't realize it, or you realize it and you don't care. And that part I thought was really well. And while the Princess Morebucks was annoying, it's not like that character is some cartoon manifestation. There are people like that. It's not just something you see in something like Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. There are people out there who literally, if they don't get their way, they'll get upset. They'll beg and beg their parents to do what they want. And there are also parents who literally just throw money at their kids. Like, who will buy them anything and everything. And not only that, but not only are there parents who just have money that they can just throw in their kids' laps, but their kids who abuse that. And, I mean, it's understandable. I mean, look, when you have, like, tons of money, you don't have to be as resourceful with it. You don't. Whereas before, like, you might be hesitant to give your kid money. Now, here it's like, okay, $100 means that's like the equivalent of it's the equivalent of my parents handing me $20. And I have met people like that. There are kids at my brother's, never mind, but not my brother's school, but I had a friend who went to a private school, and at that private school, there were kids who would do prom proposals and they'd spend like large amounts of money. I mean, you had limos, you had someone hung a banner in their school. Just tons of insane stuff that people just throw money at. Or I was at sleepaway camp one year and they were driving us back home. They were driving us to this area where our parents were going to pick us up, and we made a rest stop along the way, and this one girl just spent like over $20 at the rest stop, and I'm like, what are you getting? It's like, what in the world? But there are people like that who will just blow money. Like, totally abuse the system. And I'm one of those people that likes to be very conservative with money. Like, I only spend it when I need it. I usually don't ask my parents for money. When they do give it to me, I'm like, I don't abuse it, and there's that part of me that's like, oh my gosh, do I really deserve this? And especially now that I'm in college and my parents give me like money to spend in college. I'm not going to disclose how much, but it's a pretty fair amount. And there's a part of me that could abuse that. There's a part of me that could just spend, and just keep asking my family for money and just totally abuse the system. But I'm not that kind of person. I'm not that materialistic. There was this one parent who basically just gave their kid like over a lot of money, and he just blew it on bought a flat screen TV, an Xbox, a beanbag chair, all this stuff, and he went to Target and spent like probably like $400 or $500. I'm like, are you serious? Again, that's just how I feel about it. Don't take that as me saying that. If you want to go and blow your wad, if you want to abuse your parents for money, like, I'm not saying you should, and I'm just saying I think that's kind of abusive, and it's not my thing. But anyway, back to the episode. So, Princess Morbucks, this whole story just reminded me a lot of the Incredibles. With Incredible, you have this super fanboy who wants to be like the superhero, and they become the superhero, and they get in the way, and then they become a villain. But I think that story was executed a lot better, for the simple reason that, number one, Incrediboy was sort of likable. Like there was this positivity. Like, he liked Mr. Incredible. He wanted to be Mr. Incredible, and it's hard to get that with the princess because she's constantly whining and whining. She's very whiny about it. Like, I don't know, the fanboy gone wrong, I think, is the more interesting thing. And because again, Incrediboy's not evil, at least not yet. He just has misplaced values. This Princess Morbucks is just very full of herself. And I noticed something about the animation too. The kids in Pokey Oaks kindergarten, the designs of them are very mixed. Like it's not like, okay, the Powerpuff Girls and Miss Keen all have like very unique, detailed designs, and the kids have bland, generic designs. It's alternate. Some of them have the dot eyes, and some of like the big, round Disney cartoonish eyes, and it's a little inconsistent. I mean, in some cases it makes sense because there are some kids in the kindergarten that are a bit more distinct. Like I saw Elmer in a brief shot. I saw this one little girl with brown hair and big blue eyes that I remember from there's this adult joke I've heard about in Powerpuff Girls that I'm going to get to at some point probably, where basically the Powerpuff Girls introduce this girl to the professor saying, oh, the professor created us in a laboratory accident. The girl's like, I was in an accident too, and I saw her in there. But I don't know, it just feels kind of strange. Like, either fill the kindergarten class with a bunch of little kids, each with their own distinct, unique dot eyes or big round eyes design, or just have them all have dot eyes. Like, it's just a little inconsistent when some have the dot eyes and some have the round eyes. It's a little jarring. And particularly when they're far away and, like, suddenly, like, the Powerpuff Girls are flying away from the school, and you see a bunch of little kids who their faces are very vaguely detailed. It's not terrible animation. It's just like one of those. I don't know. I'm also trying to pay a bit more attention to the animation. And then there was like one shot where the Princess Morbucks was. She has this bright red hair, and they put it against a red background, and I don't know. Like, I'm always like, you should always try to contrast colors. Like, put like, if you have something red, put it against something that's not red, or if you're gonna put it against it, make a different shade. Like in the intro, like they're pretty good at like, I don't know, just altering the shades of pink, green, and blue that the Powerpuff Girls are put against. Like a good example, these paintings. We have a bright white photo. No, these aren't paintings, they're photos. Photo, or is it a painting or a photo? I don't know. But anyway, basically you have white against something green. These are contrasting color. Is it green? The point is that the colors contrast. Again, it was just a little goof, but it's like one of those things that just bothered me. And again, I know I'm complaining about this episode a lot, but there was a lot more I didn't like about this episode than the last one. It was still, like, a passable episode. The fight at the end I thought was pretty fun. It was fast-paced, exciting. It was nice to see Blossom get her own little moment. Like, I love when the laser beam is shot at Blossom and she just tilts her head slightly to the right or left. And then she's, like, holding her own against Princess Morbucks, and it's one of those moments where it's like, yeah, go Blossom! And it makes sense because she's the leader, she's the most experienced. Like, she would be the one who would be able to hold out a bit longer on her own. But, I mean, other than that, it was just a very meh episode. It's not... it wasn't terrible, it's just there was a lot of stuff I didn't like in it. It's still, like, miles ahead of a lot of other kids shows that I don't like, and like Uncle Grandpa. And even then, it's not like a significant dip in quality. Like, none of the episodes I didn't like have dipped in quality. It's just every now and then you get that one that's sort of like, eh. And this is one of them, and it just is a bummer that it has to be the start of season 2, which I want to talk about that for a second. Because this is the first episode of season 2, but Princess Morbucks, you can see her in the intro. She's always been there, so it does make me wonder what the production order for these episodes are. And I've looked on Wikipedia, and I can't find any. Because some TV shows, they'll put the production codes and production orders on there, like Steven Universe, Batman the Animated Series, like a bunch of shows, they'll put numbers saying what order the episodes were made in. And I can't find that for Powerpuff Girls, so I don't know if this episode was in production at the same time as the episodes from season 1, and if they're aired out of order, or if they just Cartoon Network ordered a bunch of episodes, and this was one of the ones in the batch. I don't know, but it's just something I found a little odd. And that's all I have to say about this one. The next one is Schoolhouse Rock. Apparently it has the Green Bean Gang in it, which I'm interested to see that. Those characters are always fun to play around with, since, they're characters that don't have superpowers. So hopefully that one will be better. But until then, this concludes this month's Powerpuff Girls vlog. Please leave your thoughts on Stuck Up and Away in the comments below. Are you a fan of Princess Morbucks, or are you like me, that she's one of the weaker villains? Comment below and let me know. And as always, like, dislike, comment, subscribe. And as always, you can watch more videos on my channel. Just click the subscribe button. Until next time, this is JStar260. And take care.